Welcome back to Networking Unleashed, Building Profitable Connections, where we go to beyond handshakes and dive into the conversations that create real impact. Today's guest is someone who brings the perfect blend of strategy and soul to the small business world. He's a speaker, coach, and advocate for entrepreneurs, known for helping leaders find the courage to lead, unlock their cash flow, and face the biggest challenges business owners encounter head on. But here's the question: how does networking play into all that? How do the right relationships help unlock revenue, resilience, and real growth? We're about to find out. So get ready for a conversation full of wisdom, real talk, and tangible takeaways, because today we're not just talking business, we're unleashing connections that profit with purpose. Harlan, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show. I am so thankful to have you on my show. You want to give us just a little bit of your background?
Sure. And thanks, Michael. I had you on my podcast. Love talking to you. And I'm glad to be back on your podcast now. Been looking forward to this. So, my background is pretty varied. I grew up in Southern California. I worked at Lockheed Aircraft for a while, then went to college. And when I came out, I found a job as a consultant. And so, for the next 30 some odd years, I was a management consultant, organizational change and business transformation. So, working with companies that were undergoing some major kind of change, like a merger acquisition, a process reengineering, a new software implementation, something like that. Anything that touched the people, processes, or technology in the business is a change. And if you're not careful how you manage that change, you could lose some employees, some key employees along the way. So our job was to get with the executive team to help them understand the impacts the change would have and could potentially have on their business, help them communicate that change and lead their people through the change so they were as productive after as they were before. That was our goal. But that meant getting on an airplane every Monday and every Friday, flying to a client site, flying home on the weekends. And it got to be a little bit much. So after about however long, 25, 30 years, I told my wife, I think I want to stop traveling for a little while. So I started networking locally and business coaching for some of the local businesses. So I've worked a lot with a lot of different varied businesses. And right now I'm working with commercial and residential contractors to help them improve their cash flow and maximize their profits so that their business can thrive and they get to take home as much of the hard earned money that they make. So that's what I've been doing the last 8, 9 years.
Wow, that sounds great. That sounds jam packed. Your background is so varied with so many different businesses. You probably have a lot to offer them. So hopefully that will just continue. But now
Sure.
let's get into just the networking and leadership. You talk a lot about courage. What role does courage play in reaching out and building authentic business relationships?
I think courage is huge. I wasn't used to networking and I got involved, like I said, when I came in off the road, went to a few different networking groups. And what I loved was realizing that a lot of these people are just like I am. A lot of them were starting their businesses, starting off. So they were a little nervous speaking up in front of people and getting up in front of people and talking. To get that courage to step onto a stage and talk, even if it's about yourself, even if it's a topic you really know well, can be daunting for some people. So getting that courage to get up and share. And the thing I learned about networking, Bob Berg has a great book, The Go Giver. Don't go into a networking environment wanting to take, wanting to get referrals. Go in with a giving heart, right? Give referrals, recommend people, refer people, and that reciprocity will kick in. And that's what I started finding out is the more that I helped other people achieve their goals, the more they were willing to help me achieve mine. And I think networking is key to any business. If you're in business and you're not networking, you're missing a big opportunity.
Absolutely. And that's one of my biggest points when I coach and when I go on the road to talk about networking is you give with what's called a servant's heart. You always give before you receive, and it will definitely come around to you. Have you ever made a connection that completely changed the trajectory of your business or leadership path?
I've made a lot of amazing connections. I'll tell you, I actually met with this guy this morning. We just happened to bump into each other at a networking event, and he is a business coach like I am. So you'd think we're in a competing area that there'd be some animosity between us. This is one of the most giving men I've ever met, Jeff Bartholomew. He helps anybody that asks him for help. So I'll bounce ideas off of him. He'll give me some direction from either problems or things that happened to him in his past. He say, hey, watch out for this, watch out for that. And he's really helped me as I go and approach these different new businesses. Sometimes you come into a new business. I'm not familiar with every business in the world. I know the business of business, right? So I can help people with their strategies, their systems, cash flow, things like that. But the finer details of the business, sometimes those elude me. So I can go with Jeff, we'll sit down, have a cup of coffee, bounce ideas off of each other and stuff. And I come out recharged, ready to go. So yeah, the networking, he has been a great mentor for me.
That's great that you can find somebody in your same lane and you're not in competition, but you actually help one another. And I think that's the true meaning of doing business and networking and having the servant's heart. So that's right on all the levels. In your experience, how can networking directly impact a small business's cash flow for better or worse?
One thing I try to get my clients to understand is networking. You never know who you're talking to and how they're connected. So getting out in opportunities to talk to people, to let them know what it is that you do and how you do it, I think is great for business. The one thing that happens a lot with cash flow, it's not so much the money coming in, it's the things that are going on in the business, how they use the money that's going out, the profitability. By getting out and networking with people, you can run into what we call gate openers. The people who may not ever buy the product or service you're selling, but they work with the same clients or customers that you do. And they may be able to bring you in. When the client buys this, maybe your product or service is the next little piece they're missing. And so these gate openers can actually introduce you to people. And anytime you can get an introduction to someone, it carries so much weight, that halo effect. If they've already bought from this person, they're in good standing, right? People can trust. That halo effect shines on you. And when they introduce you, you've got their credibility standing in for you and stuff. So I think networking is huge. And I've seen it change people's lives where they will make a connection that connects them with the second or third party who then becomes a big customer for them. So you just never know where it's going to go.
So you're not networking necessarily with the person you're speaking to, you're networking with their network
Yeah,
of people.
exactly.
And whether it's two or three times removed, because if they've purchased from you or from somebody that is associated with you, they like you already. They all that trust factor is already there, so they can recommend you. That's very true. And I always believe in talking to the person as if they're the center of their network.
Right.
So that's very good. Do you believe referrals are the most underutilized revenue stream in a small business?
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of the mindset is we've sold something to these people. They've done their part. I've done my part and we're done with them. I try to get my clients, keep them involved, email them every once in a while, check in with them. If you're in the neighborhood, stop by and say hello. If it's business to business or something like that, try to stay in front of them as much as possible because you never know when they're going to be talking to someone or someone in their family needs something. And you want to stay top of mind with them. If you sell and then you walk away, then you're no better than some of the big box retail stores. They don't come and see how things are going. If you buy a product first,
Oh, I can't,
does,
I can't hear. Okay, I
I'm
can't hear
sorry.
you. Oh, now I can hear you.
All right. Are we back?
Yep.
Sorry. Sorry, I told you technical difficulties. If somebody buys a product or service from you, check in with them after a month or two. See how that product is working. Did it do everything that you thought it would? Did we perform the way we thought we could? Those type of interactions, I think, grow. If people have a really good experience, they're going to tell more their friends and colleagues about what you do. So always keep those relationships forefront.
I truly believe that the days of building your customer list is really passe. Now you're building the relationships. And after you've given them a service, whatever the case may be, you put them into your CRM and do some sort of a drip campaign. So you're always staying top of mind. So I always say, oh, you know what? Harlan knows that. Let me give him a call. And he just gives you a call, gives you a call. I'm a firm believer in the relationship building as opposed to just adding to your client list, your customer list. You often say small business owners face one major problem. How can the right network help solve it?
So I often quote Mike Michalowicz, a business author, Profit First, Fix This Next. Mike Michalowicz said, the biggest problem business owners have is that they don't know what their biggest problem is. And I found that true with some of the clients that I've worked with. They know something's wrong. The business isn't quite working the way they thought it should, but they have no idea what they do. So they end up working longer, working harder, trying to get more sales, right? And that's rarely the problem that's happening. By going out and networking, talking to other people, talking to them about their businesses, see the struggles that they're going through, you may realize, hey, I'm barking up the wrong tree. That's not really what's going on. Find out what they're using. If you're looking to change your point of sale system, what are other people using? Network with them and ask the questions. People love to talk about themselves. They love to talk about their business. Go up and ask somebody, how do you guys do this? And again, yes, you may be in a similar industry. You may be competitors. There are what, 7, 8 billion people in the world? There are plenty of people. There are plenty of customers around there. Don't get hung up on that. Talk to people, ask them about their business, share some ideas, trade with them. And yeah, I think you can really find out how to improve that because everybody needs a little help along the way. And picking up a tidbit from this person with
You
that person, I think.
froze. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I firmly believe that if you ask somebody for their point of view, not necessarily their help, but their point of view, have them tell about themselves in their work environment or something. People, as you said, people love to talk about themselves. But they love to give you advice. You feel that you've made it when somebody asks you for your advice. So it puts them up and it puts you on a higher pedestal when you ask because it shows that you are truly interested. Okay, so here's a good one, right? What's the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make when trying to build their network?
I I think one thing is going in again with that mindset that I'm here to get rather than I'm here to give. They burst into a little cluster of people talking and start talking about themselves and what they do and handing out business cards and everything. And I think you put people off and they're not going to think about you. They're not going to refer to you if they get a client. If you come in, listen, ease yourself into a conversation and then ask some pointed questions about the people that are already in there talking. Even if you turn around and walk away from the group, you're going to be one of the most interesting people they've met that day because you took the time to listen and ask them about their business. So make your networking about getting with other people and asking them about their business. Make it about helping them, referring people to them, and your business will grow.
Absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head. Everything that I go out and I speak about and everything else and what you have to do, you said it really so eloquently, but you really just got to the base of what I would say would be a huge mistake of anybody trying to network is going in talking, that they should listen and it should be active listening, not just listening to hear, but listening to listen and respond to them with what they're saying. So, yes, listening and all that with you. Giving out the business cards is a major no no off the bat. I'll tell you a funny story. I was at a networking event and there was about five of us at a table. And a guy comes walking up. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, I know all of you. Here, wait a second. Here, take my card. Zip, zip. Listen, I want to get in touch with all of you. You all have my contact information. Can I have your cards? Because I want to. And he was off.
Yeah.
And we all looked around like, what just happened?
Yeah.
We all just took his card and threw it out. That's the number one way of not doing it. That's the way of not doing it.
Be engaged and be engaged. I had a one-to-one meeting with a guy that I thought I would either be able to help him or help some of his clients and friends. He spent the entire meeting talking about himself, me, and then his phone rang and he picked up his phone and talked on his phone for the next 20
Uh,
minutes. And then our time was up. Our
yeah,
time was, and I will never do business with somebody like that. I want to know
absolutely.
that if they're sitting with me, I try to be as engaged as possible. I put my phone away or put it face down. I try to look them in the eye, ask them questions, be engaged with what they're saying. He was all about me. And that just
Yeah,
doesn't work.
yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. That's not going in with the servant's heart. That's not going in to give rather than receive. So yeah, I understand that wholeheartedly. Okay, so How do you personally decide which relationships to invest in and which to let go?
Hmm. As far as to invest in, I'm always looking for the people who work with the same type of clients I work with, either a peripheral type service or product that I can then go in and help on top of that. I'm looking for those people to make connections with. Other people I want to get to know because who knows, something will come up and maybe I'll be able to refer somebody to them. But if I put a call into them or put an email into them and they don't respond to me, if I send a referral to them and they don't respond to that referral, I'm done because it's my reputation too that's on the
Absolutely.
line. When I send a referral to you, I've already cleared with this person that they are looking for your product and service. If I say, hey, I've got somebody I network with, the guy's great, blah, 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 I turn them over to you. If you drop the ball, I look bad. And now it's hard for me to go back in front of that person and give any referral. So that's one of the big things that I look for. If somebody doesn't respect the referrals I'm giving them, if they don't respect my time and my effort, sorry, I just won't do business with them.
Respect goes such a long way, and you have to know how to respect the other person. And as you said, you take your phone, you put it in your pocket or face down. It's away from you. You don't even consider looking at it. You're looking at the person square in the eye. You're engaging with the person. So you're 100% present. And if they can't give you the same respect, then you really don't have a relationship at all. You've told me how successful you've become, but why don't you give me a mistake that you've made personally and how you overcame it?
So I was in the first networking group that I went to, I was that guy that wanted to talk about myself and how great I am and everything that I know and everything I've experienced. And it was one of the mentors from the group that kind of came over and put his arm around me and said, let's take a walk. And he introduced me to the servant's heart. And I had no idea. I was there to promote me, and that just didn't work. And it was tough kind of getting back in with that group and building that rapport that I should have done in the first place, getting to know them and asking about them. That took a while to build that back up. Now that's when I go in, that's my first thought is be quiet, listen, ask questions, but just be there and just soak it all in. And then if somebody turns and says, hey, tell me about you. Okay. If they've told me enough about themselves, fine, I can talk then. But I try to wait and when I say, you're far more interesting than I am. I'd love to know more about like and get them to start talking again. But yeah, I was a guy that dropped the ball that first time. I just came in. I had flyers, I had business cards, I had all kinds of stuff that I wanted to pass out to every single person in the room. It's not the way
Right.
to do it.
And it's not easy to do, is it? It's not easy just to turn that around because you grew up, you always thought you're here to sell something, your services or whatever the case may be. And you want to tell everybody what you have. That's why you're there. But it's a whole different mindset, a whole mind chip. And it's not easy to do. It's not something you can do overnight. It's something you have to practice. Because listen, networking is a skill
Yes.
and it's a talent. So you have to
Take
practice,
practice. Yeah.
practice. Yeah.
And
That's
the
always
networking group, sorry, the networking group that I'm involved in right now, they're very good about one of their hard and fast rules is do not sell to anyone in this group. You're not here to sell to these people. Nobody gets up that early in the morning to be sold to. Tell them how they can help you. How can, here's who I helped, how I helped them, and a great referral for me would be X. And here's a good opening question because that's one of the hardest things. I don't know exactly how to refer this person to a marriage counselor. I don't, how do you breach that, right? How do you say, hey, I've got a marriage counselor. I'd love you. It sets people off, right? So they're teaching us how to give the what they call a kindling question, just to get the fire going a little bit. Something thought provoking. You can ask them, hey, have you ever considered this? Or how is this going? Or hey, I just read this article. Have you ever had that same issue? Just something little like that. And if they say, yeah, you know what? I am dealing with that right now. I may have somebody you can talk to. So trying to get that down. It's again, it's not you're not selling to the people you're networking with. You're basically building your sales team. These are the people that are going to go out and think of you. So whatever you can do to help them keep you in their mind, that's what you ought to do.
and that's really the perfect way. You can't I used to belong to a BNI And that was referral, whether it was a real referral or not. And
The
most of the
name in your
time,
pocket. Yeah.
it was not. Okay. I did 1 year of BNI because that's what I paid for, and I really cut it out. When I was in New York, I had my own networking groups, one in New York, one in New Jersey. I had about 30 businesses in each. I took the best from BNI, the best from the tip,
Mhm.
and I created my own networking group. And I did just about what we're talking about now. But it's been years and years of practice because nobody will get it right first time out.
Sure.
Um, when building a network from scratch, what's the first thing a small business owner should do?
I think the pre-work, understanding number one, your products and services that you're going to talk about, understand who your customer is. So you have a good, clear picture of who that customer and how you can help them. What are the things they're struggling with? How does your product or service ease that pain or solve that issue that they have so that you know then how to go out and present your business to everybody? I think the other thing is then those peripheral people who offer similar services or complementary services, adjacent services, if you will, that they may be talking to some of the same customers that you are. For a long time, I was working with an investment person and a counselor. And I would bring in things about when you're getting ready to sell your business, some of the struggles you go through with a family business, how that impacts the family and things. We worked with a lot of the same people. So we saw that there might have been a little bit of overlap. So we did a few presentations together. That was good. If you could find out who those other people are, that those gate openers, and try to who would these people be, and then reach out to them. If they're not in your group, invite somebody to be in your group. Tell everybody else, I would love an introduction to this person or this person, and try to get them in your group. Always try to build your group. Think about who you know that could support somebody else in your group and start inviting them.
That's very good advice. And actually, that was the way that I built up my groups to be so large. When I was doing the networking groups, I was in the mortgage industry.
Hmm.
So I obviously invited real estate, financial, insurance, because we talked to the same people in different parts. So we all helped one another. But the two groups grew to be quite large. And I had to leave them to come down to Georgia, but that's what I did. Has there ever been a time where networking saved your business or your sanity?
Sanity, definitely. Every business goes through ups and downs, right? You're on the roller coaster. And a lot of times you think, is it something that I'm doing? Is it something that I'm not doing or I'm doing wrong? By being in the network and sharing that, here's a concern that I have and stuff, you realize that a lot of people are going through the same thing you are. And maybe you can help support each other through that. And I did that when I first got into coaching. There were a lot of times where I'd hit dry spells. It's like, what am I doing wrong? And everybody said, no, everybody's slow right now. COVID is a great example for a lot of businesses that impacted people. And it's like, just we'll get through this. Maybe here's some options you could do. Here's some things you might be able to do. Instead of going personally into these different offices, can you offer online courses? Can you offer any online meetings and things like that? So trying to help each other through those tough times. That's I've made some friends in the networking groups I've been in that we're still friends and we probably will be for life. And we do try to help each other whenever we can. So I think that's a big part of it.
How can you balance the in-person networking groups or in-person networking events with digital?
And I think there are a lot of both now. People are used to using Zoom and Teams to conduct work. So I don't think they're as standoffish as they were for a while. Everybody, if you're not meeting in person, it's not valued. I don't agree. I have a group of other business coaches that I meet with every other month, and we're scattered all over, but we get together and share online. And it's nice to build that rapport. I think you can do it. You have to be a little bit more specific on how you build those long distance relationships. Be intentional about it. Be engaged. You don't want to be on camera and be looking off to the side doing something or playing with your dog or whatever. You want to make sure that you're engaged, just like you are in a meeting, sitting with people. Have your camera on. I've been in a few meetings where people have their camera off. That's almost like being in a conference room, but you turn your chair around to face the window and not look at the people you're meeting with. Have your camera on and be engaged. and ask questions and things like that. So it's all the same rules that would apply in a live event. But having those Zoom type meetings, I think are great because you can get yourself involved in other areas where you might not be able to drive to all the time. Get involved in those meetings and you can still meet with these people, still get in front of them and find out what they're doing and how you can help them. And they in turn can help you. So yeah, I think it's a great tool. I love the online meetings.
Yeah, it's great. I do virtual workshops,
Nice.
which was new to me because I'm used to going to the business and doing a workshop and everything. But I always give them a standard rules, a list of standard rules. Have your camera on, be attentive, be interactive, don't look down at your phone, don't, make believe that you're in a conference room. And I would say 90% of the time it works because that other 10% of the time
Yeah.
nothing works. Okay, let's bring this full circle.
Okay.
What's one networking habit or ritual you swear by that our listeners could start doing today?
In the networking group that I'm in right now, we write down the one best thing that you go around the table and introduce yourself. Here's my business, who I work with and what I do and how I help them. We write down the one best thing we learn from each person. And then towards the end of the meeting, we can stand up and say, hey, I really liked how you said this. I really love the quote you gave on this. And it gives some support and feedback, pat on the back, which everybody needs, right? Just some encouragement to keep doing what you're doing. We can also jot down maybe tips. Hey, you missed an opportunity to say this or talk about this. We share those opportunities then with the person afterwards. So again, we're there to help support each other and build each other up, not just to get referrals from you, but to build the morale of the whole team. And so, yeah, that's what I like to do. I take a lot of notes during the meeting and I share those with everybody during the meeting and after.
That's great. And I'm sure that's taken practice. You didn't just get out of college and all of a sudden start doing all these fantastic things. You had to learn. And that's what I'm trying to get at with my listeners that first of all, you go out and you start. You just do it. Because the first time you're going to suck. There's no two ways about it. You're not going to get, but by the second, third, fourth, fifth time, you're going to get better and you're going to enjoy it. And the last thing is, I'm sure that whenever you go to a networking event, you have a good time, right? You enjoy yourself because nobody likes going out and working without them getting any type of feedback or anything else like that. So that's it. So, Harlan, I want to tell you, this was fantastic. You were a great guest. And if somebody wanted to get hold of you for coaching or for otherwise, how can they do it?
They can start on my website. The website is ib4e-coaching.com. A lot of information out there. I've got some PDFs and things like that you can download from there, free content. And yeah, if they'd like to talk to me, you can connect with me there. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Harlan Hammack on LinkedIn, and love to chat. Love to talk with you.
Fantastic. Harlan, I can't wait to speak with you again. I'll speak with you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael.
Well, hold on, folks. Don't go anywhere. Let me just read a few of our sponsors that we have. Struggling to reach success? Maybe it's time to quit. In Quit Your Way to Success by Rodney Davis, this reveals 27 steps to breaking bad habits that hold you back. This powerful book helps you rewire your mindset, take control of your actions, and turn setbacks into stepping stones. With real life examples, motivational quotes, and actionable lessons, especially for sales professionals, you'll gain the tools to quit, what's stopping you, and start winning. Transform your future today. So, Quit Your Way to Success by Rodney Davis, available now on Amazon. And this is a nonprofit called Revved Up Kids. This is something I believe in wholeheartedly. Revved Up Kids is on a mission to protect children and teens from sexual abuse, exploitation, and trafficking. They provide prevention training programs for children, teens, and adults. To learn more, go to revvedupkids.org. That's REVVEDUPKIDS.org. Well, that's a wrap, folks. A huge thank you to our special guest, for sharing such incredible insights today. And of course, a big shout out to you, our amazing listeners, for tuning in and spending your time with us. Remember, networking isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. So take what you've learned today, get out there, and make some meaningful connections. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little networking inspiration. Let's keep the conversation going. You can find me on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or my website, Michael. Remember, until next time, keep practicing, keep connecting, and keep building those relationships. This is Michael A. Forman signing off. Take care and happy networking.